Where did Kody Brown's finances actually end up? And what was concealed from the world for decades? For decades, Sister Wives viewers watched Kody orchestrate the Brown family's sprawling life, governing the various households, manipulating family dynamics, and dictating finances, all in the name of a unified plural family. We witnessed arguments about money, property, and priorities. We witnessed the tears, the fights, and the absurd budgets. On the surface, the Brown family functioned as one financial entity. All income from Our Plural Path and affiliated projects was allegedly collected into one communal pot. Every mortgage, every property tax, every car payment, all were shared, or so we thought. But stunning new disclosures in the Christine-sued, Janelle-backed court case indicate that the narrative we assumed was an elaborately constructed fiction. What if the disintegration of the Brown family wasn't merely a matter of interpersonal strife or religious conflict? What if it was something more in keeping with a calculation, something chillier? As reported by insider sources unveiled in court, Kody Brown had a clandestine monetary stream entirely hidden from the wives. This was no trivial side account. It was a well-hidden system of personal funds, corporate accounts, and bonuses that brought hundreds of thousands of dollars directly to him without going through the family funds at all, and who finally went public with it. Janelle Brown, the wife who had suffered through years of Kody's authoritarian hand on family finances, the wife who experienced the RV hardships and broken promises, and the wife who said enough was enough. In a bombshell of a testimony in family court, Janelle uncovered proof that is currently rocking the very foundations of the Brown family empire. The only question now is simple. How was Kody Brown able to lead a double life for so long and not get caught? And what will happen with the incriminating evidence Janelle has laid out? To stay ahead of this story as it unfolds, make sure you're tuned in to every revelation, every document, and every jaw-dropping courtroom moment. The drama isn't over. It's just beginning. The courtroom was tense the morning Janelle stepped up to give her testimony. For years, she had been portrayed as the quiet, compliant wife, the one who accepted Kody's decisions, no matter how restrictive or financially punishing. But off camera and out of sight behind the scripted narratives, Janelle had been accumulating evidence, receipts, bank statements, and in-house records that told an entirely different story from that Kody shared with the outside world. The court battle was sparked when Christine started divorcing Kody, insisting not only on her independence, but also on an open book regarding the finances of the family. What began as a request for joint paperwork grew into something much more substantial. Attorneys soon discovered that the Brown family's official records captured only half the picture. Janelle, a longtime suspect of irregularities in the family finances, was contacted by Christine's legal team to testify. She had to decide whether to stay quiet and be an accomplice or come forward and reveal the truth. Year after year of frustration played a role in her decision. Janelle had suffered the financial burden of holding multiple properties, financing the family business and overseeing household expenditures, yet being denied access to money and having finances controlled by Kody with no say in the matter. More than once, she'd been refused essential resources for her children under the excuse of tight budgets, as Kody supposedly spent indiscriminately from secret accounts. It wasn't just a matter of money. It was about trust, respect, and openness, or lack thereof. Janelle realized that if she wanted any hope of fairness for herself and her children, she had to reveal Kody's secret financial life. And the courtroom would be the theater for a tale no one had ever seen before. A tale of deception, betrayal, and the extremes one man went to in order to dominate a whole family. As the judge summoned the court to order, Janelle's opening remarks set the tone for what would become one of the most explosive depositions in the history of Sister Wives. "Your Honor," she said, her voice firm but shaking with emotion, "what I am going to show you is not about money. It is about truth, accountability, and the right of all members of every family to know what has been going on behind closed doors for decades." The court came closer, and the viewers at home would learn soon that the Brown family cohesion was a myth. The clouds of secrecy Kody had created were going to come crashing down before their very eyes. As Janelle started placing the evidence on the table, the courtroom was silent. She put up documents that Kody had secretly concealed from his wives and the world. Multiple accounts, some offshore, some domestic, were traced back to Kody alone. Accounts that showed thousands of dollars being moved, withdrawn, or spent without the knowledge of the family or any financial oversight. "These funds were never discussed with us," Janelle testified, her hands holding the bank statements like a shield. Kody would make big transfers every month for personal spending, investments, and what he referred to as family projects. but we were not made aware. The lawyer for Christine pushed on. Janelle, do you mean that Kody knowingly kept these accounts from his wives? Yes, Janelle answered, her voice steadfast. It was deliberate. I found them when reconciling the expenses of the family businesses and properties. The figures wouldn't balance. Each time I asked him, he would sidestep or say he was doing it to protect us. What stunned everyone was not so much the presence of the accounts, but the complexity of the cover-up. Kody reportedly employed aliases, shell companies, and third-party investments to root family funds. Janelle presented an elaborate timeline of transactions, some of which overlapped with personal vacations, high-end purchases, and even payments that defied Kody's public persona as thrifty and prudent. The judge reading over the evidence presented a raised eyebrow. Miss Janelle, he mentioned, this is quite extensive. How did you manage to put this together without raising an eyebrow? I kept precise records, Janelle detailed. Year after year, I saw discrepancies in the bills, the tax returns, and the bank statements. I followed everything around, usually undercover, because I knew if I came out and said it to him, it would be more lies. The courtroom was electric. The viewers at home watching a long live stream could practically sense the deceit. Kody's dignified image as the stern patriarch was disintegrating bit by bit under Janelle's painstaking evidence. This was not just a money trail. It was an insight into the secret life of a man who had openly professed honesty and transparency, but was actually running a network of accounts that was being served by him alone. With the courtroom still reeling at the discovery of secret accounts, Janelle moved on to a more intimate emotional aspect of Kody's hidden existence. She explained how the money he had diverted was not just a financial betrayal, but also used as a means of control. Each time we attempted to make a significant family decision, purchasing property, investing in a business, even planning family vacations, Kody would manipulate the money to control results in his own direction, Janelle testified. It wasn't money, it was power. She provided a dramatic illustration, a significant property buy that was meant. As the courtroom drama escalated, Janelle meticulously presented evidence showing how Kody had used these secret accounts, not merely for personal gain, but as a mechanism to control and manipulate the entire family dynamic, keeping wives and children in the dark while projecting the illusion of financial unity on our plural path. Each document, each bank statement, each correspondence painted a picture of a man who had carefully orchestrated a double life for decades, moving funds from shared family accounts into private holdings, investing in properties under aliases, and siphoning money through shell companies to maintain his secrecy. The evidence revealed that Kody's covert financial empire included offshore accounts, hidden investment properties, and personal expenditures that were never disclosed to the wives, all while he continued to present himself as the fair and responsible patriarch in public appearances and on Our Plural Path programming. Janelle testified that the impact of this deception went far beyond dollars. It affected trust, decision-making, and the emotional well-being of the entire family, with major purchases, college funds, and home upgrades often manipulated to serve Kody's personal interests rather than family needs. She demonstrated how the hidden funds allowed Kody to make unilateral financial decisions, using the wives' assumed consent as cover, and how this secrecy had caused confusion, stress, and mistrust among the children and other wives, effectively controlling the narrative of the family's life and fortunes. Detailed timelines of transfers and purchases were laid out, showing that over many years, Kody had moved money to accounts and properties that the other wives could not access, including investments that brought in substantial rental income unbeknownst to the family, and how the proceeds were funneled into projects and vacations for Kody's personal benefit. The court listened as Janelle described recordings and messages that further proved Kody's intent, exposing conversations in which he openly instructed colleagues and intermediaries to conceal activities from the family, discussing strategies to maintain appearances on Our Plural Path while enriching himself. Witnesses corroborated Janelle's testimony, confirming that Kody's secret financial dealings were deliberate, long-term, and complex, involving trusted associates who facilitated his web of deception. The courtroom, already tense, became electric as the layers of manipulation were unveiled, showing that Kody's control extended beyond money into emotional manipulation, favoritism, and unilateral decision-making, and how the fallout of these actions had sown discord among the wives, strained parent-child relationships, and disrupted family projects. Even the children were affected, with some funds meant for education and personal growth withheld or redirected without explanation. leaving them disadvantaged while Kody continued to profit in secrecy. As Janelle laid out each case of hidden spending, offshore transfer, and property purchase, the evidence painted a chilling picture of a patriarch who had systematically undermined the very family he publicly claimed to protect, using secrecy as both shield and weapon. The court saw how this intricate network of deception allowed Kody to maintain the appearance of family unity on Our Plural Path, while privately advancing his own financial interests, creating a false reality that the wives and the public had been led to accept. By the time Janelle concluded her testimony, it was clear that the financial and emotional impact of Kody's double life was profound, revealing a pattern of deliberate control, betrayal, and exploitation that had been hidden for years, and leaving the court, the media, and viewers of Our Plural Path stunned at the depth and scale of the deception. The implications of this revelation were far-reaching, as the hidden finances not only challenged Kody's public image, but also called into question the integrity of the family's business dealings, the fairness of property and resource distribution, and the trust that underpinned decades of plural family life. Every document presented, every witness testimony, and every recording exposed the meticulous planning Kody had employed to keep the family unaware, turning what appeared to be ordinary financial decisions into strategic acts of control and personal enrichment. As the judge reviewed the voluminous evidence, the realization set in that the Brown family's financial history had been carefully curated to conceal truth and protect Kody's interests, leaving the wives blindsided and the family legacy fractured. Janelle's testimony, while personal, was also a clarion call about transparency and accountability in plural families, demonstrating that secrecy and control, even under the guise of family unity, can erode trust, compromise emotional stability, and distort financial fairness. The court proceedings, streamed and reported widely by Our Plural Path, revealed not only the existence of hidden assets but also the emotional toll of Kody's manipulations, showing a family navigating the treacherous intersection of love, loyalty, and betrayal while confronting the staggering reality of one man's secret financial empire. In detailing the consequences, Janelle emphasized that the hidden finances were never about necessity, but about consolidating power, dictating outcomes, and maintaining control over those who trusted him implicitly, and that the exposure of these accounts was a crucial step toward reclaiming agency, fairness, and trust within the fractured family system. By the end of the testimony, the courtroom understood that what had seemed like mismanaged or complicated family finances was, in reality, a calculated multi-decade strategy of concealment and domination, and that Our Plural Path's viewers were witnessing a historic unraveling of one of reality TV's most publicized family empires, leaving a legacy of lessons about transparency, trust, and the consequences of unchecked power. Then there was the most searing piece of evidence, a confidentially written letter by Kody himself, giving instructions on keeping it under the hat and controlling the flow of information to family members. A letter that outlined in graphic detail how he planned to employ both personal charisma and calculated deception to control the family's perception while pursuing his clandestine financial activities. And when the judge held up the letter, allowing its contents to echo throughout the courtroom, he declared that this was a willful and concerted attempt to deceive those closest to you, and that the implications were serious both legally and ethically. And from that moment, the disclosures became the turning point, as the emphasis changed from figures and finances to the relational and emotional implications of Kody's deceit, with Janelle's measured delivery revealing a truth that extended far beyond what people could ever have dreamed, exposing a dual existence that eroded trust, shattered family cohesion, and left a trail of deceit running through the whole sister wives' home. And the courtroom was charged when the judge banged the session into order, all eyes fixed on Kody, firmly sitting in his chair, and on Janelle poised and unflinching, what was soon to become apparent being one of the most discussed moments in Sister Wives history as Janelle started, her voice steady but unyielding. Your Honor, before we delve further into the finances, it is essential that Kody speak to the personal betrayals that have come along with his plans. The family is entitled to honesty, not only in dollars but in words. And as she spoke, Kody's eyes shifted wildly, unable to meet direct contact, his normal poise shaken, the whispers in the courtroom rising, anticipating that the confrontation was poised to intensify, the judge nodding and giving Janelle leave to proceed. Kody, she declared sternly, how do you explain the secret partnerships you made, the clandestine communications that engineered family trust, and why did you think it was right to orchestrate a double life while claiming moral authority over your family? and a heavy silence settled in the courtroom before Kody swallowed hard, finally breaking his silence, though his voice shook. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I was trying to protect the family financially and emotionally." And Janelle's face went stern as she shot back, "Protecting the family by keeping bank accounts in secret. Making secret contracts and breaking trust is not protection. It is betrayal. You didn't merely withhold information. You deliberately spun a tapestry of untruths that put the very integrity of this family at risk." The room charged with tension as Robin, Christine, and Mary looked at each other, each contemplating the magnitude of the revelations, the judge leaning forward, clearly engaged. "Kody, do you plead ignorance or willful deception?" And Kody stuttered, struggling to find words. "I thought I was doing the best. I didn't think of it that way then." While Janelle moved closer, her very presence demanding notice. "Your best has done irreparable harm. Trust is broken, relationships are strained, and your dual life has imposed scars that will not easily fade. It is not simply a matter of money. It is about the integrity you've lost." The judge interrupting to underscore the seriousness of Janelle's words by noting that the court is aware of the personal aspect of these crimes and that manipulation of trust and hiding the truth is as crucial as the money factor. And then came the revelation that shook everyone in attendance as Janelle shared a tape-recorded conversation wherein Kody had confessed on his own terms to willfully deceiving his wives and masterminding the secrecy of his finances. The tape played in the court, and Kody's face going white as his own voice rang out in emotion throughout the room, whispers beginning as the public gallery leaned forward, taking in the weight of the confrontation. The proof now conclusive that Kody had been caught red-handed living a double life both financially and personally, the judge pausing to allow the weight to hang in the air, declaring this a turning point and that the court would now decide the implications of those acts, not only in restitution, but in their effects on family unity and individual responsibility. The courtroom resuming the next day, with the air electric with expectation, everybody knowing that the next revelation would be about the monetary consequences of Kody's hidden double life, because this wasn't merely betrayal, it was millions of dollars on the line and lives touched by his actions. And Janelle stood, firmly in front of the judge, grasping a thick document folder. "Your Honor," she said, "what the court is going to see will show the real effect of Kody's secret dealings. These documents reveal secret bank accounts, unreported funds, and secret transactions that were intentionally kept hidden from the family." Kody shifting uneasily in his seat, fists clenching, the gallery edging forward, hungry for the facts. The first display showing that Kody had diverted money from family funds into secret investments that were never disclosed. The figures astronomical. Hundreds of thousands of dollars painstakingly concealed behind reams of paperwork. And Janelle's voice firm, yet her words like knives as she delivered the evidence that would forever change the perception of Kody Brown and the family he had once controlled. Like, these transfers weren't oversights or errors. They were intentional moves to maintain a parallel financial life, one where the family was not privy to what was going on. And this wasn't about money. It was about control and trust. The judge scanning the papers and addressing Kody. "Mr. Brown, these are some serious charges. How do you answer the accusation that you deliberately mismanaged and hid family money?" Kody paused, stuttering. I made decisions I felt were best for the family financially and strategically." And Janelle cut in, unflinching. "Strategic deception is not a strategy. Mismanagement that causes huge losses and emotional ruin is not strategy. It is betrayal," as the court then proceeded to testimony regarding clandestine property purchases, revealing that Kody had bought several properties in the name of investment, but without complete disclosure to his wives, using dubious loans and third-party brokers to make them nearly impossible to trace. Christine and Mary exchanging looks of anger and disbelief. Robin remaining quiet, all wives affected differently but universally shocked. And Janelle concluding with an indicting summary. The overall financial harm resulting from Kody's clandestine activities exceeded $1 million and beyond the monetary toll. His actions destroyed trust, manipulated relationships, and fostered a culture of secrecy that damaged the entire family, highlighting the need for accountability not only legally but morally. The judge acknowledging the gravity and noting that the economic impact would weigh heavily in restitution and on consequences for Kody's conduct. And when the court resumed, the air was heavy with tension, as the second part of Janelle's case revealed the covert networks Kody had built. Coalitions and exchanges designed to maintain his double life, with the audience both in the courtroom and following along on Our Plural Path realizing that the family's secrets were finally being laid bare. Janelle walking to the witness stand carrying a pile of printed emails and text messages, stating, "Your Honor, these papers reveal the cloak of secrecy Mr. Brown has upheld, exposing how he coordinated with third parties to conceal financial transactions, personal decisions, and even his whereabouts from the family." The judge nodding as the papers were admitted into evidence, grumbles and murmurs circulating in the gallery as the first set of messages flashed on the screen, showing Kody coordinating with business partners to skirt his wives, transferring large sums of money, making secret investments, and altering property and family asset decisions without consent. Every email and message worse than the last, Janelle's voice calm, authoritative, and righteously indignant as she declared these were not one-off incidents but a constant pattern of cover-up. A whole system designed to keep his activities clandestine, not just from the public but from the very people he had sworn to guard and defend. Christine leaning over with narrowed eyes, muttering, "It is unbelievable. All this while we believed we knew him." The judge's demeanor tightening as he addressed Kody. "These messages indicate premeditation. How do you answer the accusation that you knowingly misled your family for your own benefit?" Kody gulping. I thought I was making the right choices. I didn't know the extent of the harm." Janelle piercing him with a look. "Thought you were making the right choices? You kept essential information from us, manipulated results, and had secret alliances. This was not oversight. It was intentional, as the next evidence showed interactions with people outside the immediate family to facilitate the cover-up. Letters, voicemails, and secret meetings ensuring Kody's dual life remained intact, including astonishing messages from a real estate agent told to keep purchases secret from the wives. The courtroom silent under the weight of the betrayal, both monetary and emotional, with Janelle succinctly recapitulating that Kody's double life relied on secrecy, manipulation, and the complicity of others, all planned and deliberate, the judge nodding as he took notes, acknowledging the premeditated and organized nature of these acts and their consequences for judgment and aftermath. The courtroom reopening to hear the wives testify on the emotional and psychological toll. Christine first, clutching the podium, her voice firm but emotionally laced. "Your Honor, what I learned wasn't merely about dollars. It was about trust, systematically violated. Kody dictated decisions in our lives, our home, and for our children without consent. He concealed aspects of himself, shattering the family, the courtroom quiet except for occasional sniffles. Then Robin, defensive and desperate, recounting, I thought I knew my marriage, the man I married. But secret meetings, hidden communications, and financial decisions I was excluded from made it feel like living with a stranger with multiple lives I never got to see." The judge listening attentively, acknowledging the unprecedented emotional distress caused by Mr. Brown's systematic concealment and double life. Janelle moving closer to speak directly to Kody. "You think these records, these messages, these secret accounts are just pieces of paper and digits. But they are our lives. The trust you tore apart can't be measured." Mary's testimony following, sobbing as she recounted the humiliation and betrayal she felt discovering Kody's secrets. The courtroom responding visibly with gasps and murmurs, the wives outlining the personal toll of missed birthdays, vacations, and manipulations, and Janelle concluding, "This is not about money or secret accounts. It is about being held accountable. It is about confronting the truth you hid for so many years, and now that reality cannot be denied." The judge nodding gravely, recognizing the severe emotional harm before the proceedings shifted back to the financial evidence. Janelle's team presenting every secret transaction, offshore account, and unreported income Kody had tried to hide, revealing he had secretly poured over $2 million into a private account under a fictitious business entity, detailing deposits, transfers, and mysterious withdrawals, demonstrating a conscious attempt to hide personal profit from family responsibility. The courtroom hushed, attorneys leaning forward, Kody's legal team visibly tense, Janelle exposing reckless secret spending on luxury vacations, cars and houses purchased under shell companies, each dollar spent in secrecy constituting betrayal of trust. The judge grim, recognizing deliberate concealment and breaches of fiduciary responsibility, the wives sharing quiet looks of shock and disbelief, and finally, after a meticulous line-by-line account of Kody shunting money to fund secret ventures and relationships outside the family, the judge delivering the ruling, Kody Brown's concealment of assets, intentional misrepresentation, and clandestine financial dealings constituted willful deception and fraud against the family, ordering him to turn over all disputed bank accounts, properties, and assets with restitution to the wives, leaving Kody visibly shaken, and the family, through the brave revelations on Our Plural Path, achieving accountability, the end of secrecy, and a reclamation of their freedom, money, and narrative.